Alright, DTF crew, welcome to another episode. I'm Q. We're going to do something a little bit different today. I've got a mic set up I wanted to try out for my camera, so we're just going to go ahead and see if we can't capture some decent footage with audio. But I want to take this opportunity to go over the list of parts that I had for the transmission swap and what the whole project cost me, and just to show you that it's attainable at a reasonable price, and it's also very doable in your home garage without a car lift. So with that, I just want to say the best chance that you have at this is going to be to find a salvage vehicle in your area, because the prices that I've seen online, especially for the transmission itself, are a little inflated. On eBay and Facebook Marketplace, if you're looking for the ZF 320, you're at a minimum paying $500 plus shipping, which is freight shipping, so that's usually another $150 on top of that. And I've seen them as high as like $1,000 for one of these transmissions. So salvage is going to be your best bet at this. So what I'm going to do here first is just go through the parts that I got from the salvage yard, and then we'll go over new stuff and then additional stuff that you could add on to this to make it complete. I mean, you can phase this in like I did, or just do it all in one shot. It's also quite drivable in various phases of this, so it was not very difficult to do, and I was able to do all this with some basic garage tools plus e-torque socket set and a transmission jack, and those were kind of most of the special tools aside from the electronic stuff, which I'll get to in a little bit. But you can also outsource that to someone maybe that's comfortable with doing that. Anyway, all right, to start with the salvage parts, I did find a car that was about 10 miles away from where I live at a salvage yard. Pick your own part. So I went there to get that out of the vehicle, and I ended up getting the ZF 5-speed with full clutch assembly, master and slave cylinders for $185 for a couple hours of work of removing the transmission, which I think that's a pretty good price. So I am also with that saying that I am running currently a used clutch in this car. I did do a VIN check on the vehicle that I tore the transmission out of, and I found the last recorded mileage, which was just prior to it showing up at the salvage yard, as 145,000 miles. So it may or may not have been changed out at some point, but I am running a used one. It does work, it's drivable. However, there are some noticeable wear involved with the shifts. I think it's probably the dual mass flywheel, which I anticipate to change out to a single mass at some point when I do my power add-in. So the next thing I did find was the drive shaft with a local gentleman that was parting out a couple of Z3s. There are a couple online, but you just have to make sure that you're finding the right length, because there's various lengths of these things. And I purchased that for $75. Next, the shift linkage, I got that off of eBay. I paid $96 for that. The cross member, transmission cross member, I paid $68 for that off of eBay. The pedal box assembly, that I got out of the salvage car for $25. And then I did buy a used Dell laptop, a D620, off of eBay for $138. And that was required to do the programming aspects of this swap. But as I mentioned earlier, that's something you can maybe outsource and save yourself. It probably costs about the same, but I did it for the aspect of learning how to do it for myself. So now we're going to get to the new parts. I did buy a new master cylinder because the one I got used out of the salvage car was not holding pressure when I went to bleed everything. So that cost me $70. And that also came with the hose I needed to get up to the brake fluid reservoir. After that, the slave cylinder, also again, that one was leaking out of the salvage car. I got that one off of Facebook for $25. All the shifter bushings I got for $38 off of FCP Euro. The transmit bushings I got for $10 off of Rock Auto. Then the drive shaft, center bearing, and collar lock nut, I got that for $29. The flex joint or the guibo, I got that for $30. The flywheel bolts, I got that for $17. Throwout bearing cost $10. Clutch pivot pin, I replaced it with a brass one. That one cost me $8. And then I got the OBD ADS adapter, which allowed me to connect to the car and do the programming. That cost $75. So all those parts, the used and the new, just for the mechanical aspects of this swap, cost me a total of $686. Plus, if you want to count the diagnostic and coding components, which is the computer and the adapter, that cost $212. So $898 if you want to do the mechanical swap and coding yourself. Beyond that, I also did a rear differential gear ratio change and rebuild. So with the automatic having the 4.1 rear gear, because it had an overdrive gear in the fourth gear position, it was running at very high RPMs. It's drivable that way. It wasn't bad in town, and first gear was pretty much useless, but I wanted to get a little bit better fuel economy and improve the drivability, because you're running out of gear really quick with that gear ratio. So I did swap it out for the 3.15 gear that came from the factory with the 5-speed transmission, and that, in addition to the rebuild kit I got. So I got the rebuild kit from Ireland Engineering. That was all the bearings and seals and everything required for the refresh. Cost me $182. And then the gear set, the 3.15 gear set, which was the ring and pinion together, I purchased that off of eBay for $155. So if you include all mechanical components of the transmission, shifter linkage, electrical coding requirements, and then the rear differential rebuild, you're looking at $1,235 is what I spent to complete this build. And I think that's a pretty reasonable price. Obviously, there was a ton of labor involved with that, and you're gonna pay quite a bit for having a shop to do that for you. However, I think with the videos that I put out, I put a series of every step of this on my YouTube channel, and you can find that in the videos section. It's part of my story or collection, I guess you could say. It was very achievable, and I think I outlined the process quite well. Hopefully it gives some of you enough comfort to go ahead and do this yourself, because it's much more fun shifting yourself, and it's very rewarding, I would say. So I'm going to leave this video here, and I appreciate you all tuning in, and please do subscribe. I do have more content coming for this car, and I hope that it's something that you're all interested in. Again, Q, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see y'all soon.